Ian Schrager is a 74-year-old entrepreneur from Brooklyn, New York. He studied at Syracuse University and St. John's University School of Law. He is most famous for creating the concept of the boutique hotel, as well as his iconic nightclubs. Steve Rubel was Ian Schrager's fraternity brother at Syracuse, and the two ended up becoming business partners. They started by buying a few small discotheques in Boston and Queens, and in 1977 opened the iconic Studio 54. Studio 54 was a famous club in Manhattan, with guests such as Michael Jackson and Mick Jagger. The club interior would change multiple times a night, depending on the various themed parties. However, in 1978, Ian Schrager and Steve Rubel were charged with tax evasion, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy, and went to jail. After getting released from jail, Schrager founded Morgan Hotels in 1984. This hotel group introduced the world to boutique hotels, known for lobby socializing, luxurious amenities, and fashionable urban settings spanning across the country. In 2005, Ian Schrager sold Morgan Hotel Group to start the Ian Schrager Company, which develops, owns, and manages hotels and residential properties. Schrager helped re-envision the Gramercy Park Hotel in New York City and has started multiple hotel brands. Schrager's latest business project has been Edition Hotels, which is a partnership with Marriott International. They have locations in the biggest urban hotspots in the world, with plans for 100 new hotels across North and South America, Europe, and Asia.
Now we're going to talk about James Hemings, the first American chef who trained in Paris and also known as father of American cuisine. And we'll be discussing his life as an enslaved chef and his impact and legacy on today's hospitality industry. James Hemings was born in 1765 in Virginia, and he lived most of his life enslaved into Thomas Jefferson's position along with his family. And he finally began his life as a freeman when he was 30, and he committed suicide at age 36. I'm going to talk about some important dates. In 1774, Hemings arrived at a plantation owned by Thomas Jefferson at age 9 along with his family. And in 1784, he traveled to Paris with Thomas Jefferson and began his training in French cuisine. During the days in Paris, Hemings learned the art of French cuisine at several famous kitchens, including the Prince de Conde at Château Chantilly, which is equivalent to Michelin 5-star in modern days. And in 1787, he became the head chef at Hotel Lonjac in Paris. Hemings returned to the U.S. in 1790 after 6 years of training in France, and Jefferson became the president in 1801, but Hemings declined his offer to work at the White House, and he committed suicide later in the same year while working in Baltimore. And I'm going to talk about his impact and legacy. He introduced the potage stew technology to the American kitchen, as well as European-style mac and cheese, ice cream, and French fries. And he made a huge impact on American chefs for generations, and eventually became a key to establish fine dining in the United States.
James Hemings applied some of his earnings towards engaging a tutor to teach him French. Learning this language improved Hemings' communication and engagement with the French staff and enhanced his immersion in the French kitchen and culture. This obviously improved a lot the service that Hemings gave to the important French people. It was times of political disturbance in France. Thanks to Hemings' familiarity of the language, made him aware of a French law that allowed a slave to petition the courts of freedom, even if one was brought from another country. The message is, if one sacrifices himself to care about others, like Hemings did, that action will always benefit him.
James A.G. Tata, founder of the Taj Hotels in IHCL, one of the first of Asia's largest hotel company, opened the Taj Mahal Palace in 1903. It was the first hotel of the company. Then, in the 1970s, the group took lead in business in metropolitan hotels and opened India's first beach resort.
In 2008, the Taj Mahal Palace was hit by a terror attack that killed 167 people. The hotel was reopened in August 2010. Then, in November, President Obama visited the hotel and delivered a speech complimenting how the Taj has been a symbol of Indian people's strength and resilience. The Taj Hotel's legacy is the guest-first culture, where the focus always remains on delighting the guests. Their aim is to always serve products and services exceeding guests' expectations, and they believed in consistency of learning and development from customer feedbacks. They are also one of the few in Indian industry to recognize climate change. They put themselves as an example for the industry, focusing on generating renewable energy from sources such as solar and biogas. Just in the year of 2011, they increased use of renewable energy in 61 hotels by 92%. The Taj hotels also have implanted rainwater harvesting systems in hotels to reduce freshwater intake. They also have water recycle and reuse measurements as part of their hotel designs. In the year of 2013, they were able to reduce water consumption per room night by 4.5%. During the pandemic, they've made a series of protective measurements toward their hotels, such as temperature checks and sanitizing baggages during guests' arrival, and social distancing in public areas. They've also required employees to wear protective equipment when providing services such as room service.